Who's ready for another round of Pin the MSI Claw, where we throw games at it without regards for anybody's health or safety and see what sticks. As is tradition in Pin the Claw, I'll be blindfolded from the truth and see only what I want to see, meaning positive interactions even with the worst running games. You've been warned. Let's get started. Our first candidate for the slaughter. Did I say slaughter? I meant processing for consumption in lethal manner. This happens to also be the first big game released this year, so it seems we're doing this in chronological order. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. In case you're not familiar, lots of teen drama and 5 minutes of gameplay for every hour of cutscenes. But you don't hear me complaining. Who's complaining? What was I saying? Oh, right, performance. Here we go. That doesn't look half bad either, but this game runs pretty decent. But standing here watching this village burn down, I realized something. Why are we looking at this when we could have been looking at this the whole time? And look how smooth it all runs. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. That is, of course, if you didn't play this next game. Who needs boobs when you have this, or this, or this? It's almost too much to handle, and so thinks my claw. But as it turns out, I had this installed on my SD card. 10 agonizing hours later, things look a lot better. Never has New York City looked this empty. It's great. No mountains of people. Rush hour is not an agonizing daily cycle of despair anymore. And where there are people, they've all turned into these Venom wannabes that you can beat up without a care in the world. Oh, and it runs great too. Here's a little comparison for you guys. Me perched on top of the world like that guy from the Titanic with stage fright. You've gotta hand it to the boys at Nixie's. They do some stellar work, and this runs great. But like I always say, real men play at 17 watts. And ballers? Well, real ballers don't play video games. They are the video games. That doesn't make sense, you are just not a baller yet. Point is, endurance mode all the way, baby. 17 watt performance, not half bad. And endurance mode, not too shabby either. But Spider-Man is for kids compared to this next game. If you're a real kingpin, stick with me and I'll show you the way. So, you want to be a pirate but you just don't have what it takes. Boy, have I got news for you. This right here was made for you. Eye patches, check. Gonorrhea, check. Pirate battles against overwhelming odds, check, check, and more check. And even, are you sitting down?
Take us away, winning our sails, we'll go anywhere. You got the captain on your side, so come with me.
Like I said, Yakuza in Hawaii was made for you, and it's beautiful. It's like Ubisoft finally pulled their head out of their ass and started listening to what people wanted, except it's not Ubisoft, it's Sega. This is the spiritual successor to Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but funnier, with more Yakuza and less of the annoying escort trailing missions that drive everybody crazy but seem to be part of Ubisoft's ongoing battle against humanity. Just look at this. What more could we ask for? Highest resolution, highest settings, and XeSS unbalanced. Beautiful 50 to 60 frames. Even when shit gets real, and shit gets real fast in this game. But screw that. Only wimps play on 30 watts as we've discussed. How about 17 watts? Boom. Even more stable than last. But only big boys dare play on endurance mode. But I went there for you. Here we go. Smoother than P. Diddy's baby oil parties. This game is just nice. But you want real smooth? Come a little closer. Come a little closer. This next game is just for you, my man. Don't tell anybody. Man Simulator of the year 2025. The medieval Grand Theft Auto we've all been dreaming of. Henry is as smooth as James Bond. Yes, boys, if you're feeling down on yourself, it's time to play this. Enjoy the local flora and fauna. And this.
This lot. Watch out, here we go. Henry.
Real man doing real man's work. Let's see if this Man Simulator is compatible with the manliest, most beastly handheld on the market. As we all know, real men play at 12 watts, so that's where our journey begins. The troughs of great battery life, but grating performance and frame rates only real men can endure. And if 12 watt looks like that, what on earth can we expect from 17 watt? Here's what. Oop, wrong footage. Here's what. And for good measure, 30 watts. Yes, this Man Simulator of the year 2025 runs like a wet dream on the Claw. And for how awesome this Man Sim was, this next one feels like someone just took a dump in your lunchbox. If you said to yourself, nah man, that's not for me, that Kingdom Come game is just too good, I need something less good, less spectacular, and more importantly, it has to run like crap. Again, you're in luck, because I have just a thing for you. A game, had it released next to Skyrim in 2011, people would have said stuff like, oh, yeah, that's also a thing. And such classics like, no, I'd rather go clean the septic tank. That's Avowed. Obsidian's latest miracle. A game so bold it tells you how ugly you are for the first half of the game.
What's the matter with your face? Stay back. I'm not catching whatever's on your head.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk performance. Boom. Scared you, didn't I? Yeah, that's the kind of game we're talking about here. But it runs alright. Or so I thought, until we reached Civilization. Then shit really hits the fan. Only taking it down to low gives us anywhere near decent performance at this point. We can't forget about manly gaming at 17 watts. That's impossible with this game. Very disappointing. And the title of okayest game goes to Avowed. But my spirit was about to be further crushed, maybe even irreparably damaged. I honestly didn't think Ubisoft had it in them. I've tuned out for most of their games and wasn't even going to pick this one up. But I really couldn't pass up on the Creed of Assassins any longer. Not now that they finally arrived in the long requested Japan during the era of crazy toe socks and creepy ski masks, and of course samurai. Yes, Ubisoft finally did it. I present to you Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's no Black Flag, but we have Yakuza Pirates for that. But how does it run? Let's find out. Well, the closest analogy I can give is the pleasing smoothness of skin on sandpaper. Take this here, for example. Low settings, 1200p and XeSS on performance mode. The intro scene says it all. 22 to 24 FPS, and other than the resolution, everything's on the lowest setting already. Not exactly what I was hoping for, especially since this game is Steam Deck verified. And indeed, when we lower the resolution down to 1280 by 800, it becomes decently playable, hovering right around that 30 FPS threshold. But man, this device is supposed to be a beast, a real man's device, much more powerful than the geriatric Steam Deck. Disappointing to say the least. Did I give up, however? No. We marched on, and my faith in humanity was about to be restored. I can't believe the difference in games sometimes. Pretty much every game on this list has been an open world experience of some kind, from Assassin's Creed to Spider-Man and everything in between. Some run well and some less so. I played this right after Avowed, so my expectations were low. What do I see? Adamfall makes them all look like a bunch of slackers, trying to get away with cramming the night before a big test. Feast your eyes on this. 30 watts, high settings, 1920 by 1200, without any kind of image scaling. Beautiful. Even on Ultra it's still very playable. But wait, you haven't seen nothing yet. Low settings, well up to 70 FPS. Want to save some battery? Adamfall's got your back. 17 watt mode, still a nice solid 49 to 53 inch frames. What about endurance mode? Well, I'm glad you asked. Still a very solid 30 FPS. I'm not sure how the wizards at Rebellion did this, but I'm sure it involved sacrificing many chickens, because this is some real dark magic right here. It's an open world game that looks, in my opinion, much better than Avowed, and it can run on a potato. Will our next game be another miracle? Maybe not. Or is it? Let's take a look at the very timely release The Last of Us Part 2. Everybody's favorite hate to love and love to hate game because, you know, the whole thing with Joel. I was really hoping they'd go a different direction with the show, but that just didn't happen. This game better be running buttery smooth, because nothing is worth going through that whole ordeal again. And I have to say, they didn't do a half bad job. It's not so much a miracle as Adamfall, since this was a PS4 game after all, but I mean, look at this. That's 1920 by 1200, settings on high and XeSS on balanced. Even very high is playable up to a point, or if you'd rather go for a bit more performance, medium, low and very low are all options. Heck, I'd say this is even very playable on the Claw's 17 watt mode. But enough about The Last of Us. On to the surprise hit of 2025. A game that surprised pretty much everybody, was threatened to be overshadowed by the surprise drop of Oblivion, but came back with a vengeance and has already sold over 4 million copies. I wish I could say I was there from day one, but I was late jumping on board the Claire Obscure bandwagon. But I'll say it now, this is one amazing RPG. A bit like the older Final Fantasies, but with more manual parrying, or attempts at parrying in my case. And this game tricked me. It almost had me convinced it was going to run beautifully. It all started off great. 1920 by 1200, medium settings and XeSS on balanced. Smile on my face. Performance is nicely between 35 and 40 without much of a graphical downgrade. Combat 2 worked splendidly. Nice and fast, me missing all the button prompts with equal precision. Could it be another game in the win category for the Claw? I dared hope. But then my dreams got crushed. Because there's an overworld, and this is where the performance of the game came crashing down. Bumping XeSS from balance to performance largely remedies this problem without too much of implication on the gameplay, and by and large the overworld is mostly just for walking around in. The battles themselves are just as speedy as ever. The dungeons and battles themselves are all very well playable even in the 17 watt mode. And since we just talked about Oblivion, let's move on to that. A game from 2006 should be no problem for the mighty and manly Claw. What the heck is this? I haven't seen stutters like this since I played Starfield on the Claw. What? That's also Bethesda? Oh. Well, that explains a lot. This game had me going for a bit though. Since we don't actually see daylight for the first 5.5 hours, it's easy to get confused. Scurrying around in the dark like the creature of the night that I am, performance is beautiful. But similarly to Claire, we're on a first name basis, performance plummets once we set foot outside to smell the roses. No big deal, settings at medium or low and we're back in business, with frames often in the 40s. I got hopeful that we might be able to run this in the 17W mode and save ourselves some battery, but that didn't work out so well. Not on low settings in ultra performance mode for XeSS anyways. But if we really need those battery savings, say you find yourself scuba diving without a charger, you could revert to desperate measures and turn the resolution all the way down to 1280 by 800, which significantly boosts performance, but I haven't seen such water painting graphics since The Witcher on the Switch. But if you want real water painting graphics, wait till you see this next game. Tricked ya. I can't even get this game to run on the Claw. I've been trying for days, and let me tell you, I'm not a patient man. But I've waited for patches, I've waited for updates, and I've waited for details. But what did I get? This is all there is for Doom the Dark Ages on the Claw, at least for my Claw anyways. Alright, I need to cool down a little, and what could possibly be better than this? Taking my bike and... what the heck is that? That, ladies and pimps, is what happens when your brain melts from too many TikToks, which is exactly how the zombie apocalypse will eventually break out, as this game so accurately predicts. You might wonder why Days Gone is on this list, a game that recently had its 50th anniversary. But as it turns out, PlayStation did a little sneaky stealth drop that I only just found out about, and for the low price of 10 smackers, this too can be yours. What do you get from this miracle? Well, it all plays pretty decently to be honest. 30 watts, very high settings, nice and solid performance. But I can see your brain spinning. What about that 17W mode? How does that run? And you, sir, are in luck. Here it is, just for you. Not too shabby. Before we wrap this all up, and I can go back to crying over Doom the Dark Ages, I have one more surprise for you. A game so great, so beautiful and epic, I had to recruit my kids to play it with me because it's co-op and I have no friends. But anything for you, loyal viewer. Here it is, split fiction in split screen on the Claw 8. And honestly, I only have one setting here, and that setting is hard, because I haven't been able to drag myself away from this game. I only have limited amounts of time to play this, because I need to recruit my kids every time. And that playtime shall not be wasted messing around with settings. Having said that, it runs pretty amazing for single device split screen with settings on high. Even Severus Snape would be impressed by a performance like that. This game is amazing. If you haven't played it yet, stop doing that and get it. And with that, I'm wrapping it up. Let me go see if I can trick my kids into playing some more split fiction with me. Let me know what you think and check out these two videos for more performance reviews on the Claw and other devices. Hope to see you in the next one.